Good morning. I think it's 6:59, so I'll wait for a minute. But today's practice, we're going to work on making downward facing dog a little more comfortable. So we'll go through a practice, but I'll give you some modifications and things that you can do when downward facing dog doesn't feel like a good idea. I had a teacher when I first started practicing yoga that would say, and now rest in downward facing dog. And I would just think, what are you, crazy? This is not a rest. This is so much work to have all this weight on my hands. My shoulders would just get so tired, but especially my wrists. So I'm going to show you some things to do to help your wrists get stronger. And so you can build up to that day when downward facing dog feels like a nice rest. So that's what we'll work on today. And then I'll also give you some alternatives that you can do in a practice instead of downward facing dog when you get tired. You don't want to overtax your wrists if they're feeling sore, and if downward facing dog is just too much, then definitely you'll want to modify until it feels like it's not too hard. So let's just start on our hands and knees, and I'll show you some things that we can do to strengthen our wrists. So actually, I'm going to take this long sleeve shirt off so you can see my arms better. Okay, so start on your hands and knees and have your wrists right underneath your shoulders, and your hips can be wherever is comfortable. We're going to keep our spine neutral, so don't kind of let your belly sag down and your bum stick up. Knit your lower ribs together, contain the length of your belly here, and you're just going to lift your palm. So my fingers are all on the floor, but my thumb is coming up. And I'll do my right hand, just lift, stretch my fingers and lower. And then just lift the meaty part of my left palm and lower. And then lift the right one and lower, and lift the left one and lower. So we'll just do this a few times back and forth. Just going back and forth. Keeping the fingers on the floor, but palm and thumb lift, just as high as you can. Go back and forth. And after you feel even on both sides, it might feel available for you to do both at the same time. That might be something that you need to work up to, but just lifting both palms and thumbs at the same time. And you'll start to feel the work in your forearms and your wrists. And when this feels easy, you can start to challenge yourself more by keeping your weight over your wrists, but maybe sneaking your your knees back a little bit, and then lifting your wrists and your palms and thumbs up off the floor. And eventually maybe you'll work back into plank. I am not at that point right now. Sometimes I'm strong enough, but I think this is more than enough. Okay, so do that a few times. You can just start with maybe 6 reps of that, and then rest, and then do a few more. But that's a good one. And then you can just take a break. And in this practice, let's work on our feet also. So while we're taking a break, I want you to sit back on your heels with your toes tucked. So grab your toes. I always have to recruit my pinkies. Come underneath. And just sit here. And we'll do a little bit of shoulder stretching. So just reach your arms out in front of you. Then stack your right elbow on top of your left and give yourself a big hug. Reach back for your shoulder blades. Tuck your chin. Stretch the back of your neck and smile into the bottoms of your feet. Just breathe there. And then maybe lift your head and you can wrap your arms into eagle arms. I'm going to bring the left fingertips into my right palm. Your shoulders out of your ears. Kind of push your hands away from your face as your elbows come shoulder height. All right, and then release that. And wiggle out your feet. Okay, so next thing. Take your right fingertips and turn them out to the right and then back towards your knee as much as you can. It doesn't have to go all the way. It can go out to the side, whatever feels available for your wrist. And then find a little bit of a stretch there. You can soften into your elbow a little bit. We can stretch after that work that we did in the wrist. Okay, and now, just like we did with our hand the other direction, keep your fingers on the floor and lift your palm. And now lift your thumb and kind of fold it over toward the pinky edge of your foot, your hand, and then open it out. I'll turn this way so you can kind of see what I'm doing. So lift your palm and you're just going to take your thumb in and out. I don't know, kind of draw circles or something. Or it's certainly not a circle that I'm drawing here with my thumb, but keep your fingers on the floor as much as you can. Lift that palm and then just make some movements with your thumb. And then shake that out and just do the other side. So you'll take your left hand, turn it out to the side or all the way back. Just go as far as feels friendly for your body. Don't do something that's really uncomfortable. And stretch for just a few breaths there. And then fingers down. Now lift your palm and try to keep as much of your finger on the floor as you can. And then take your thumb and you'll push it over toward the pinky edge of your hand and then out. And just do some big movements here with your thumb. And you can kind of switch directions there. Just gonna move that thumb around. And the more weight you have forward, the more you bring your torso forward, the more resistance you're going to put on those muscles just to strengthen them. But just get into those fine little muscles. And then shake that out. Sit back again on your tucked toes. So tuck your toes, sit back again. Stretch the bottoms of your feet. Reach your arms out, and this time left elbow on top, and give yourself a big hug. You can reach all the way back for your shoulder blades maybe. And then tuck your chin, the back of your neck, stretch, squeeze yourself here. And then lift your chin. And now right fingertips come into your left palm. Elbows the height of your shoulders, shoulders out of your ears. You can kind of push your hands away from your face. Let your face be soft. Release that. Just rock forward and wiggle out your feet. Okay, and we've got a couple more wrist exercises. So for this next one, you're going to take your right hand. We'll start with your right hand. This would be mirroring you, so I'll use my left. Start with your right hand and just make it into a fist, but really seal your thumb over the front of your fingers. Okay. And then you'll rock forward and bring the back of your hands to the floor. Come back so it's on the mat. So you'll bring your back of your hand to the floor while you keep that fist. And then bring your arm towards straight. It doesn't look like much, but yeah, you'll feel this when you do it. Okay. Especially those of us who text and type, all those things. And then from here, you'll open your hand as big as you can and really reach your thumb through the floor to the floor. Spread your fingers. Keep this arrangement of your hand and then bring your hand back into a fist. And then open out. And then hand back into a fist. And we'll do like 6, open out, and back into a fist. And open out, and back into a fist. Open out, and hand back to a fist. I think that was about 6. And then lean back and just kind of shake that out. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So take your left hand and really seal it into a fist as much as you can. So really take that thumb over your fingers, rock forward and bring the back of your hand to the floor, and then bring your wrist, your elbow towards straight while you keep that thumb sealed. So you might need to stay a little bit bent here. Okay? You want to keep your thumb sealed over your fingers as much as you can. And then you'll feel that stretch. You should really feel that. And then open your hands wide. And then fist again. And you'll probably notice that one side is different than the other. This is my right, and it's definitely tighter. But you'll open wide. And then seal your fist as best you can. And open wide. And seal your fist as best you can. And I think this will be 6. And then shake it out. Okay, I've got another foot thing for you to do. So I'm going to turn around so you can see. You'll take your left foot and bring your ankle into the arch of your right foot, and then sit back and kneel here. And just breathe into that. Maybe interlace your hands behind your back and just let your chest open. Enjoy that. Smile into the bottom of your feet. Super good for your plantar fascia to have the pressure. And then release your arms. And okay, we've got one last wrist strength exercise I'm going to give you. So start hands and knees with your hands flat on the floor. And we'll start with our thumb on your right side. So your right thumb, keep as much of your hand on the floor as you can and just lift your right thumb. And then you're just gonna tap that thumb, just little tiny taps. Just tap that thumb as fast as you can. Just tap it. And you can play with how much weight you put on your hands. So as you lean back, it'll be less intense. As you lean forward, it'll be more. Okay, now let's move with that right hand. Move to your pointer finger. So lift your pointer finger up as tall and far as off the floor as you can while keeping all your other fingers down. And then tiny taps just as fast as you can. Just tap, 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 tap. It's not going to be a big movement. But you're just going to tap that finger. You know, and it's really your forearm muscles that move these, your fingers, all your digits. So you'll start to get a little bit of fatigue probably in your forearm. Okay, now we'll move on to your middle finger. Lift it up as high as you can, and then tap, 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 tap. Now as we move toward the pinky, right, these get a little bit harder. You'll feel it. It's kind of fun to see like all the little tendons and stuff that's moving in your hand, but you just tap, tap. It's tiny movement, but you're just gonna do it as fast as you can. Tiny taps there, okay. Now, this one might just be in your imagination that you're doing it, but you'll still feel it. See if you can lift your ring finger up off the mat, off the floor as much as you can, and then little tiny taps with that ring finger as best you can. Okay, and it might just be happening in your imagination, that's okay. Right, you're using your brain and trying to strengthen that connection from your brain to your muscles to your finger. So you're still working even if nothing's really moving. For me, it's not moving a whole lot, but you'll still feel the work. And now pinky. Pinky on that right hand. So lift your pinky up as high as you can and try to keep your elbows straight and tap. Tap that little pinky as fast as you can for just a few seconds. Okay, and then shake out that hand and we'll do the other one. So left hand, and really try to keep your elbow straight the whole time you're doing this. Okay, and lift your left thumb up off the floor and then tap. Thumb. And this is harder for me to keep my arm straight on my right hand. It wants to bend just because my muscles get used. I'm right-handed. Okay, and just keep tapping. Little tiny taps. It's a really subtle movement, but you'll feel it. And then release and rest that. Now lift your pointer finger and tap. Just tap, tap, tap. And tap it as fast as you can. And now middle finger, lift that left middle finger up as high as you can and then just tap it. So you keep your, oh, see my arm's bending. Keep your arm straight and keep your fingers straight. You're just gonna tap, 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 tap. And then release that. Okay, it might just be in your imagination. Do your ring finger as best you can. So try to keep your hand sealed down. And it might not even move up off the floor, but just tap, tap, tap. For me, especially on this end. It's not moving, but my brain is moving. I just can't get it lifted up. So you just kind of tap, 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 tap there. All right, and then pinky. Lift your pinky and tap it. Okay, and release. And shake that out. You can do some circles here with your wrists. Okay, and then we'll do that same foot thing on the other side. So bring your right ankle into your left arch and sit back. Just breathe with the pressure in your arch there. And then you can interlace your fingers the awkward way. So see if you can put the awkward thumb on top. Draw your shoulder blades together and reach your knuckles back. And then release. Rock forward. And one last wrist stretch. Bring your knuckles together. This is really similar to what we did earlier, but you'll bring your knuckles together and then bring the backs of your hands on the floor. And then bring your arms towards straight, just to stretch. And then release. Do some circles. How are we doing on time? Gotta look. Okay, so that was a lot of wrist work. We're just going to do a few rounds of dolphin push-ups. So you can see a good way to strengthen your shoulders. So dolphin is like downward facing dog, but your forearms are on the floor. So just bring your forearms to the floor and your elbows are shoulder distance apart and interlace your fingers. Tuck your toes and then lift your hips up and back. And this can be a lot of core work. I want you to push down into your outer wrist and really reach up through your sitting bones. Drop your heels down. And just breathe here. And then as you inhale, look at your fingers and just rock your heart forward and your face over your hands, and then push back. And just start with maybe 3. Just rock forward, then push back. And rock forward, and push back. And then you can build up to more, doing more. But after you've done a few, maybe do one more than you think you can. Just bring your knees to the floor and find a child's pose. Rest in your child's pose, but let your palms face up and really open your thumbs out to the side. And rest there. And then come up to seated. So dolphin is always a great option. If your hands get tired through a practice, if your wrists get really tired, then just do dolphin instead of a downward facing dog, or just rest in child's pose, or do a standing forward fold. Anything that will bring the weight off of your wrists. Another option, if you want to hold downward facing dog, but it's a lot of pressure on your wrists, is to roll the top of your mat up and then bring your palm onto the mat and your fingers off. So you just get a little bit of elevation under your wrists. Spread your fingers and then tuck your toes and lift your hips up. And that can be helpful, just to bring some pressure out of your wrists. Another option would be to keep a towel, like a towel there, or you could use a blanket, a rolled blanket or folded blanket. And play with what height feels good. Bring your palms to the edge of the fold, your fingers on the mat so your wrists are elevated, and then practice here. And it just will take some time for you to kind of build up to really having downward facing dog feel good, because we're just not used to doing all that weight bearing on our arms. We stand on our legs. But it is really good for your body and for your shoulders to adapt to bearing that weight. And you don't have to lift weights, you just use your own body. So let's go through one brief flow, and I'll show you how to incorporate dolphin instead of downward facing dog. So just find your feet parallel at the top of your mat, and inhale, reach your arms high. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And we'll do a lunging salutation. Take your left foot back and exhale your left knee down, and then reach your arms high. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back into a table and bring your forearms to the floor. And then come to a forearm plank. Drop your belly and just find a sphinx. Just let your heart reach forward. And then you can keep your hands down, or you can interlace your hands, tuck your toes, push yourself up to dolphin pose. And just rest there. Really push into your outer wrists and lengthen through your armpits. Engage your lower belly. And then look up at the top of your mat. You probably need to bring your knees to the floor, come up to your hands, and then step forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale all the way up to standing, reach high. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale and reach high. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, right foot back. Exhale, right knee down. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, hands down. And then just come through table. Bring your forearms on the floor. And then come back into your forearm plank. Let yourself feel strong here. And then lower down. Inhale, reach your heart forward into Sphinx. And then interlace your fingers. Exhale and push your hips up and back. And you'll probably need to tiptoe your feet in for your dolphin. And just enjoy your breath there. And then to come forward, you'll probably need to bring your knees to the floor. Come up on your hands and step forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale yourself all the way up to standing. Reach high. Exhale, hands to your heart. And that is your wrist strengthening practice today. If you guys have any other questions or requests, anything that you'd like to work on, let me know. So April, I hope that helps you. Just incorporate some of those movements into every day, and you'll eventually build up a little more strength and feel more comfortable. But don't push yourself and put too much pressure on those joints. You really do want to build up strength to get those joints stronger. So doing the combination of just taking some of the pressure out of your wrists and eliminating them and using your forearms, and doing dolphin instead of downward facing dog is good. And then just do it sometimes. Maybe during a practice you just do it once or twice, and then the rest of the time you do dolphin. But I hope that helps, and I'll see you all next week.